moment you pull back not out of strategy, but because you're truly done, everything changes. You don't say a word. You don't chase. And suddenly she's watching, quietly, subtly. You post a story, and she's one of the first to see it. No text, no call, just silence. But it's not the kind of silence that comes from distance. It's the kind that comes from confusion. She can feel the shift. The energy isn't chasing her anymore. It's no longer wrapped around her. Mood, her attention, her validation. You've unplugged from the game, not to win her back, not to manipulate, but because you finally hit a point where you're done explaining yourself. You're not checking your phone every 5 minutes. You're not hoping she sees your worth. You already know it, and that's what rattles her. She expected you to break, to beg, to explain. She thought you'd try to make her understand that you'd need her to see your pain. But you didn't. You let the silence speak. And that silence it's louder than any monologue you could have given. It's not empty. It's powerful. No. It's full of everything you didn't say. The closure she thought she'd get from you. It never comes. Instead, she's left with her own choices, her own silence, and a man who doesn't chase anymore. That's when her mind starts spinning. Did you ever care? Did she matter? Those questions echo in the silence you now own. And in that stillness, you take your power back. Because it's not your words that make her feel your absence. It's the fact that you finally stopped using them. Somewhere along the line, without even realizing it, you made her the center of your universe. Your days revolved around her texts. Your mood shifted with her tone, and your peace lived and died by her presence. You didn't see it as weakness. You saw it as love, as commitment, as effort. But to her, it slowly became suffocating. Because you cared, but because you stopped caring about yourself, you vanished into her world and forgot your own. And that's where everything started to slip. Not because she didn't want to be valued, but because she stopped valuing what came to Isley. When a woman feels like she's the source of your identity, she begins to pull away. Not consciously, not cruelly, but instinctively. Respect fades. When you abandon your own path to follow hers. But when you make the pivot, when you take your energy back and place it where it belongs, everything begins to realign. You put your routine first again. Your gym sessions, your business, your mental clarity. She notices the shift, not because you announced it, but because the emotional spotlight she used to bask in is no longer on her. That's when she starts to feel the difference. She was used to you bending, shifting, adjusting, trying to keep her happy. But now you've returned to your rhythm. So you no longer move based on her availability. You move because you have a mission. And ironically, that's when the attraction rekindles, not because you tried to win her back, but because you stopped needing her to feel whole. You've taken your power back by no longer placing her at the center of your universe. And now, she's the one trying to find her place in yours. She doesn't always reach out with words. Most of the time, it's signals, subtle, calculated, and passive. A song lyric on her story. A throwback picture. A vague quote that just happens to mirror your last conversation. Or maybe she likes an old post, just enough to spark your attention. These aren't accidents. She's not asking to talk. She's checking if you'll take the bait. She wants to know if she still lives in your head. And if you react, if you view her story and post one right after, if you start decoding her meanings and overthinking her intent, she wins. Because she knows she still has emotional access. But the day you stop responding to those signals, everything changes. You stop watching her stories. You stop reading between the lines. You stop giving her attention she didn't earn. That silence becomes louder than any text. Not because you're trying to be cold, but because you're finally indifferent. You've removed the meaning from her games. You've stopped feeding the connection that no longer serves you. And in doing so, you've broken the loop. She notices. It's the likes, the vague posts, the little nudges. They don't land anymore. They float in the void, unanswered. And that unsettles her, because she was never trying to reconnect. She just wanted to feel powerful. But now, you don't play the game. You don't react. You don't care. That emotional availability she once had, unrestricted access to, it's gone. And not out of spite, but out of growth. You're no longer reachable through manipulation. You've reclaimed your mind, your peace. And in doing so, you've become the mystery again. A man she can't read, can't control, and most importantly, can't reach like before. You used to give your energy away like it cost nothing. Your time, your attention, your presence, it was all available on demand. She didn't even have to ask. You were there, quick to reply, quick to show up, quick to care. And at first it might have seemed noble, thoughtful, but over time it became predictable, easy. And anything that's too easy eventually becomes invisible. That's the part you didn't see. The more accessible you were, the less valuable your presence became. But then something shifted. You started treating your energy like it mattered, like it had weight, like it was sacred. You stopped giving it out freely. You pulled back, not to punish, but to protect. You realized that the man who is remembered isn't the one who gives. Endlessly, it's the one who knows how to say no. The one who makes his presence feel like a privilege, not a given. Now she feels the absence. The empty space where your attention used to live. And it's not that you've vanished, it's that you've become selective. You're no longer emotionally available to someone who didn't know how to value it when she had it. And that change? It speaks louder than any message you could send. Because you didn't ghost her, you grew. You didn't disappear, you evolved. And whether she wakes up or walks away, it no longer affects you. Because the win isn't in getting her back, it's in recognizing that your peace was always the prize. Now, your presence has weight, has standards, it has value. And when your energy becomes exclusive, people either step up, or get left behind. Either way, you stay grounded, because now you know your worth doesn't come from how much you give, but how wisely you choose. Who receives it? There was a time you dropped everything for her. Missed workouts, skipped plans, changed your vibe just to match her mood. You bent your entire routine around her availability, always ready to adjust, always ready to prove your devotion. But what you didn't realize then was that every time you broke your rhythm for her, you chipped away at your own self-respect. You trained her to believe that your life could pause whenever she needed attention. And slowly, without knowing, you lost her respect, not because you were too kind, but because you were too available. But now, that version of you is gone. You don't move based on her whims. You wake up with purpose. You lock into your routine. You train. You grind. You build. She's no longer the center. She's either a complement to your journey or a non-factor. And that kind of consistency, it's rare. It's powerful. It's magnetic. Because women are used to men who bend, men who chase, men who fall apart. When she pulls away, but not you, not anymore. Now she watches you rise without her. You're building something, momentum, muscle, mindset, and the higher you climb, the more she feels the distance. Not because you're punishing her, but because you're finally choosing you. You don't wait for her to reach out. You don't hope for an explanation. You simply move. The truth is, nothing makes her feel your absence more than seeing. You thrive in it. You no longer bend to be chosen. You don't ask for a seat at her table. You build your own. And if she wants to be part of that, she'll have to catch up. Not. Because this time, you're not slowing down. You're not looking back. You're not breaking your rhythm knot for anyone.